big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. Big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave. Hold on, let me get out of Bikini Bottom. I'm getting all choppy down here in my reception again. Bam! Here I goodness gracious, y'all weren't supposed to see that much. Ooh, okay, hold on. Gotta straighten this out real quick. Hold on. Welcome to another Storm BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and right now, if y'all don't already know, I'm about to be talking about the latest SpongeBob movie, the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants. Before I get into it, y'all know I just had to do a little. I thought it was gonna be a Bikini Bottom, but I had to leave because the service down there is always choppy. Plus, we don't spend too much time in Bikini Bottom, at least not during this movie, because the underworld is somewhere that takes effect. And we'll talk more about that soon. But before I get into it, I want to remind you guys, go ahead, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel. You already subscribe. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. Yeah, just show some love, man. Okay, so this is my big finale for Sponge Week, which I know I sounded a little dry, a little dead. You know, I was a little dead. I gotta wake up. Hype. So this is the end of my Sponge Week. That's the SpongeBob week I've been doing. Early this week, I already talked about the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. I also talked about the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. So if you haven't watched those reviews, make sure you go and check those out. But today, I'm here to talk about the latest SpongeBob movie that came out yesterday at the time of this recording, called the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants. This movie follows our hero SpongeBob as he takes on what is actually, and I say this in all honesty, his biggest challenge yet, his biggest moment yet, right? This is where he proves that he is not just a guy, not just a square pant wearing person, but sea sponge, whatever, but that he is a big guy. That's right, he's the big guy, big guy. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. Yeah, I know the little dance. All right, I got a little hype, I got a little energy. Okay, all right. The SpongeBob movie, like I said, Search for SquarePants. This movie, it stars, of course, the original cast of the series, as all the movies do. But we have our special guest in this movie. That's right. We have Mark Hamill playing the Flying Dutchman. We have Ice Spice playing, just a random fish. I don't think she has a name in this movie. We have Regina Hall playing Barb, who we'll talk about a little bit. And let's see, who else? Is there anybody else in this movie that I am forgetting? And in a special appearance by a certain celebrity I'll get into a little bit later on. But let's go ahead. Let's start talking about this movie, right? So this here film, like I said, it follows SpongeBob as he is on a quest to become a swashbuckler after trying and becoming afraid for not being able to get on this roller coaster, right? So he was afraid. He wanted to get on this roller coaster. So he was. The movie kind of starts off with SpongeBob. He wakes up and he's like, "Yo, I hope today is the day," and the day that he is 36 clams tall. What is 36 clams tall? Why is that so important? Well, it's important because he wants to get on the big roller coaster at this amusement park, Booty Beards Amusement Park, which is a very odd name, right? But when he gets there, he finds out that roller coaster might be a little bit too much to handle, and so he pretty much goes to Mr. Krabs and he tries to pretty much get a little bit of help, you could say, on trying to know how to be a swashbuckler, be brave, be daring, you know what I'm saying? Be the big guy that he woke up feeling like. He woke up feeling that way. He woke up feeling like a big guy. This movie here, I feel like I'm all over the place right now. So this movie, like I said, Mark Hamill plays the Flying Dutchman, taking over the original Flying Dutchman voice that's in the series and the newer game, SpongeBob Strangers Are Tied or something like that. With the Flying Dutchman is trying to break a curse that he has, and in order to break that curse, he has to find someone that's pretty much pure of heart. And who pure of heart than our guy, SpongeBob SquarePants? So, without getting into too many other plot details, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to decide to start right here, right? So my immediate thoughts, my feelings about this movie. So, this is the fourth, like I said, this is the fourth SpongeBob movie to come out theatrically. And I do count Sponge on the Run because that may have had a limited theatrical release in certain markets, but it still did receive a theatrical release. One of the things immediately that I can say about this film is that, and this is going to be a hot take, so I'm going to start here, and then I'll walk you guys through why I feel this way. So this movie, in my opinion, I actually think that this is maybe the best SpongeBob movie since the first SpongeBob movie. This is like on par with the first SpongeBob movie. And I'll tell you guys why. So the thing about it is, right? So how do I start with this, right? So the I'm trying to figure out where to start without like really going crazy. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm so crazy. I actually have a statement prepared, which will actually help me guide, which will actually help guide my hand on where I want to go with this review, right? And again, y'all have to excuse me. I'm a little low energy right now. I'm usually a lot more hype, but I'm a little low energy. So, in my statement, I have prepared. Y'all know it's going to be a good review when I got a statement prepared. Y'all should already know that. Whenever I had the statement prepared, it's probably going to be a good one. So, hold on. Had to sneeze. Okay. God bless you. Thank you. Thank me. Okay. God bless me. Thank me. Yeah, I'm welcome. Anyway. So, The Search for SquarePants may not be the funniest SpongeBob movie to me, but it definitely is ambitious and, in an interesting turn of events, turns out being the most cinematic the Sponge has felt since the 2004 film. It justifies this on the surface gimmick, which we'll talk about, that seems to be a mandate for the movies on in a way that only the first movie did gracefully. So with the other SpongeBob movies, right? I talked a lot about a lot of different things, right? I talked about how with the first one was this like really big comedic masterpiece. I talked with the second one about how although it was even more funny, it still kind of was a little, I held that one in high regard. And then with the third one, I said that one was kind of weak. That one wasn't that great. It was beautiful to look at. It was very nice to look at, but it just didn't really do the trick, you know? In terms of being a good story and a good having that good cohesive storytelling. This one, however, where it's not as funny because there's not as many jokes in this movie that really landed. They do have good jokes in this movie, don't get me wrong, but not all of them land. There was a particular joke that was in the movie that I normally I would laugh at. Normally I would think was a good joke. And normally I think that it would with other audience members had stuck, but it's just the execution was just not, it just wasn't it. The execution just wasn't there. And that's really kind of like one of my bigger issues with this movie is that maybe it's just me, but I can't say it's just me because I was in the audience full of not just other adults, but a bunch of kids too. And even the kids I went with, I took two of my daughters and I took my younger brother with me, and they're all in the same age range, 10 and under. And they didn't really laugh. Like they might have laughed collectively like once or twice during the movie, but that was like early on in the film. And just as the movie went on, there were things that I thought was pretty funny that I did get a little chuckle over, that I did get a little giddy, not giddy, I did get a little giggle with, but it didn't really have a lot of good laughs, because usually if I see a movie, regardless if the crowd is dead or not, if I find something funny, I'm gonna laugh. If I find something exciting, I'm gonna be excited about it. And I really didn't get that so much. I got that a couple times with this movie, but not a lot. One of the other things I can say about this movie is that the animation. So the animation on this movie, if you guys watch the trailers or whatever the case may be, you see that there's a kind of a, I don't want to say decline, but it's kind of like a, this animation isn't really as strong as it could be. And that's not a complete knock to the film. I kind of see what they were going for to kind of give it like this more like, and I read a couple of interviews as well with the people on production, like directors and stuff like that. I can see that they were trying to go for that cartoony feel, that like 2D feel in the 3D world, without having to be all stylized and use the quote unquote Spider-Verse style. But if you guys have seen the Netflix movies, then this kind of has the animation on par with the Netflix movies. This has this looks like it could have used another polish. It looks like it could have used another render. It does not, to me, it does not look as polished as the other SpongeBob movies. Granted, we don't really get SpongeBob in 3D, so and I feel like that world of Bikini Bottom and everything is so bright and so colorful. The characters so uniquely designed and everything like that, that it will be kind of a little difficult to translate that into 3D space. And that's something that I would say and that I would stand by and that I would use as defense if we didn't have Sponge on the Run. Sponge on the Run, again, like I said in that review, was one of the most beautiful animated films. And then you had the short film, the Go Fetch short film that came out not too long ago. Not short film, but it was like a special episode rather. And that looked great. And then you get here and it's like, okay, this does not look that great. It just looks very plastic and it doesn't, but that kind of works for and against the film, for and against the movie. But I'm not going to keep harping on the animation. I'm no animation expert. I just don't necessarily think that, you know, those choices were the strongest to go into with this movie. That said, the movie, why I put this movie kind of like on the bar with the first one isn't just because it's not because of the comedy, right? Well, clearly, because I didn't think it was all that funny. I didn't see it. There wasn't a lot of jokes in the movie that landed. Honestly, it wasn't. At least for me in the audience that I was in. But it's really the journey that the character goes on. This movie does challenge SpongeBob in a way that I feel only the first movie challenged him, because he wants to be the swashbuckler. And meanwhile, the Flying Dutchman has his own plan in place to manipulate SpongeBob in order to get what he wants. And to watch SpongeBob go through this journey, so desperately wanting to be a hero, so desperately wanting to follow in the footsteps of Mr. Krabs, who he believes was this swashbuckling person who, and Mr. Krabs just talks about bravery and having to be, you know, a big guy, and how being a big guy means that you're not scared and stuff like that. Like, seeing SpongeBob go through this journey, it was actually very interesting. Like, once they get into the underworld, this movie takes a very unique spin, and that's where the movie starts to feel worthy of being a feature film. And there's one moment, there's about one moment in particular. I won't spoil it because I'm not going to do a lot of spoilers here, but there's one moment in particular during this with SpongeBob being in the underworld and everything, where I was like, okay, this is definitely something that they didn't do in the other two films, it doesn't feel like it's just SpongeBob. Oh no, there's a problem. SpongeBob. I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna save my friends. I'm gonna go maybe be a little upset about something, but I'm still gonna be the optimistic sponge because I'm SpongeBob. I'm sorry, I told you my voice is a little low energy right now. Okay, but this instead it goes. It gives SpongeBob something to want, which in the first movie he wanted to be seen not as a kid but as a man. And I think that maybe those might be the stories that, well, not those might be the stories, but I feel like, you know, for them to tell this again, not again, but them to tell the story of SpongeBob actually wanting something. There's something that SpongeBob wants. There's no Krabby Patty secret formula. There's no, where's SpongeBob? We need SpongeBob to come with the Krabby Patties. We miss him. Oh shit. Like especially with Mr. Krabs, because, and I like that this movie focuses a lot on how Mr. Krabs kind of sees SpongeBob, the relationship that Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob has. I do enjoy that. And it's kind of just like oh my gosh, I gave SpongeBob the wrong type of advice. I need to stop him from making a huge mistake.
or that's it. It's not about, oh, I need him for Krabby Patties, or oh, I need him to help me make me money. Like, it's, yo, that's my boy. I gotta go save him because I messed up. And I have to let him know, like, he's not, I have to let him know he's valued. And it's very fun in that manner. And it's very compelling in that manner. And it gives the movie this weight that you don't often get with SpongeBob, and that you haven't gotten with SpongeBob since the first movie. Hence why I say that this movie is on par with the first movie. And it kind of runs like in that same, like, okay, in terms of the journey that we take the character on, in terms of the again, like I said, in terms of the journey. Let me see. What are some other things I talked about with this film? Like I said, the vocal performances were great. This movie also, with the live action portion, because all the I mentioned this in my statement that I prepared, that I read just now, that the live action portions. So the live action portions of the movie, usually I mentioned, especially in Sponge on the Run, it just felt like, oh, we have to do a live action part, so let's do something live action. Even in the Netflix movie, Plankton the movie, it felt like they had to throw that in there, like it was some type of a mandate to throw that in there. But with this movie here, it feels like, again, it hasn't felt this earned since the first movie. Like the second movie, it was a little, you kind of see how we got there. It was a little, admittedly, it was a little clunky getting there, and that kind of stands out more after watching this movie, how it was a little bit messy getting to the live action portion. But there is a live action portion in this movie, of course. In the way we get there and the way we get to it, it actually is very compelling, and it's very well earned, and it flows very, very well. And the only other time I remember it flowing that well is the first SpongeBob movie. And I like what they do with the live action stuff. It's as if when I did those reviews in the other movies, it's like this one was just like, okay, well, listen, we got something for you. And I like that it because the live action portions, I won't spoil it at all, but it was fun. It was the most fun of the entire film, in my opinion. There were great jokes there. So Mark Hamill plays the Flying Dutchman. That's all. That's a well-known fact, and you can tell that with the live action portions, because of course we all know Flying Dutchman is a ghost of a human sailor. So yes, obviously, there is the portion where Flying Dutchman does turn human. That and I won't say anything else above that, but I will say that I personally had the most fun with the movie when the Flying Dutchman was in his human form. I had the most fun with that movie at that point, because I don't know if it was just the charisma of Mark Hamill. I don't know if it was the writing. I don't know if it was just the fact that the journey we went on in the film thus far up to that point, it kind of led us there to such strong jokes. But man, it was fun. It was fun. I had a great time with that. This also, again, this movie does involve SpongeBob and Patrick again taking another journey, but it's not like a journey where they have to go rescue something. It's not a journey where, it's not like a rescue journey or anything. It's pretty much hey, I have an opportunity to do something great and prove myself. And Patrick's along for the ride. And it's fun that Patrick's along for the ride. And seeing Mr. Krabs kind of come and try to save SpongeBob along with Squidward and Gary, it's just really fun. The movie, like I said, the movie is so great. Man, I had so much to say about this earlier, and now it's like I'm drawing a blank, and I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'm practically saying everything. I just have more like in-depth detail on. I had like more detail on what I wanted to say. But it's not coming to me. But I'm practically saying everything I wanted to say about this film. Really, it's just that it is definitely I can see why it has a 90% with the critics. But the 90% that they give it, I think I'm giving it for a different reason. I don't really read the reviews before I do mine, because I try to keep my own thoughts and opinions formed for myself. And like I said, I think that, all things considered, this was like I said, it was an enjoyable movie. It was very enjoyable. You know, it I'm trying to think like there were I really am trying to draw on some of these points that that I thought about earlier, just like on the ride home and everything. And I'm so upset I'm drawing a blank, guys. I do apologize. I do apologize. But yeah, like I essentially I think I'm saying everything that I want to say about this film. It you know, Regina King's character, not King, Regina Hall's character in this movie, Barb, was very fun. This movie, it you could tell that it was made with the intention for it to be fun. And I won't take away from the fact that even watching it, even not getting as many laughs from there, I still had fun watching it. I had fun being engaged in the world of SpongeBob for an hour and a half. Taking a quick break from the SpongeBob portion of this movie, though, excuse me, I do want to mention that there is a short film that plays before this, based on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So you're about to get a second review real quick. So the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Chrome Alone 2, Lost in New Jersey. That's the title of the film, of the short film. It has me excited for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem 2. I'm not even on front. It's great to see that iteration of the Turtles back on the big screen. I did enjoy Mutant Mayhem a lot, and I can't wait for Mutant Mayhem 2 now. And that's all I'm going to say. They do something, they do some cool things. They kind of lay some interesting groundwork. And I do hope that those things, especially since they had this in the short film on a wide release. So, like, you know, you go see SpongeBob, you're going to see the short film play before the movie. And they showed some things that I feel like can lay groundwork for a lot of cool stuff that can happen in the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated film. So I'm very excited to see if any of that pays off. But back to the SpongeBob movie. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I had a lot more I felt like I wanted to say, but it's I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's not coming to me. But again, I feel like I've said practically what I needed to say, practically what I felt, is that this movie to me is one of the better SpongeBob movies, in all honesty. And if I now could officially rank where I would place all the SpongeBob movies in terms of best to worst, you know, you got the first SpongeBob movie. I see it depending on what you're looking for. If you're looking for laughs, I'm putting the second one next. But if you're looking for just cohesive, like if you're looking for a good story, which this does have a good story, this does have that cinematic feel to it, then this one's the second, right? Then you got Sponge Out of Water, then you got Sponge on the Run. Okay, of the theatrical ones, that's my ranking of those. But this one and Sponge Out of Water are kind of like it really depends on what kind of mood you're in. Like, if you want to kind of get a few more laughs, if you want to get more of that goofy, irreverent, just silly, random, off the wall laughs, then yeah, you would put the second one before this one. But if you're compelled by the story in the hero's journey, because that's what this movie does, it gives you a hero's journey, especially with how the Flying Dutchman is, again, like I say, he's manipulating SpongeBob to get what he wants. You know, and it's really cool. It's really cool. I think Tom Kenny's still the voice director of SpongeBob, so I think he's definitely still is you know, and I think he was the voice director for this movie. And you can tell how much, again, like I said, the whole cast is always talented as hell. What they bring to the characters. There was George Lopez has a cameo in this movie. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is one of the more random jokes in the movie. Let me see. The cast that's involved in this film, you don't have a lot of everyone, but you do. You have SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and Gary of the main cast. And like I said, it was really fun to see like this focus with Mr. Krabs, because honestly speaking, Mr. Krabs is like, he's not like and there's no plankton, there's no Krabby Patty recipe, there's no, all that other stuff. It's Mr. Krabs trying to save SpongeBob is essentially what it is. And it does. There are, like I said, it's not like this movie is totally devoid of humor. It's not like I sat there. No, I didn't sit there like that. I chuckled, I laughed. There were some jokes that really did catch me, and there was one in particular towards the end that really did catch me. And it was like, "Follow those pasty white legs." I'm not gonna tell you who said it, and I'm not gonna tell you the full context of that scene, but just know it was funny as hell to me. And yeah, it's a fun, honestly, it's a fun movie. And I watched some interviews with the cast, mainly Tom Kenny, voice of SpongeBob, and Mark Hamill, voice of Flying Dutchman in this movie. And I do have to agree, like, this is a movie where you kind of just like relax, turn your brain off for a little bit, and just enjoy just being in another world. And I can say I did enjoy being in the world of SpongeBob for an hour and a half. It was fun. But it's just, I just wish some of those comedic bits hit harder. You know, like this movie, here we go. Here's my brain turning. So this movie I felt could have used maybe another punch up comedically, right? Like I know there's at least from the credits that I recognize, there is one name that I do recognize that writes on a long-running comedy show you may know as South Park. But I feel like maybe if you would have gotten maybe like one or two more comedic voices in there to kind of punch up a couple of the jokes, because just one joke, there is one joke where there's like an awkward silence, and that joke usually would work very well, but I didn't really get the laugh out of it. I didn't really get a laugh out of it at all. But I realized what the joke was doing when the joke was damn near over, and I was like, oh, that's what they were going for. But they could have, the execution could have been better, right? And it could have used another, just could have used a punched up an animation, maybe just one more render. It is a very bright and colorful film, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, and after you kind of get used to the animation a bit, because it doesn't look theatrical all the time, but the times when it does start to look theatrical, it is amazing. Well, not amazing, but it's very well. It looks very good. Having the trio of Mr. Krabs, Squidward, and Gary of all characters, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Gary gets it. It's as if this movie wanted to be like, okay, Sponge on the Run didn't really make it to theaters the way we intended to, but we still do want Gary to get some time to shine. They gave Gary some time to shine. Gary has one of the first funny moments in the film. And that's the truth. He does. He has one of the first funny moments in the film. And I thought that what they did with Gary, just having him tag along, no, he doesn't contribute much to the journey, but it's still a welcome change of pace to have these different characters who are usually sidelined in these movies are just relegated to, their typical character archetypes, have such a bigger role, especially when it comes down to Mr. Krabs and his relationship with SpongeBob, and how SpongeBob looks up to him, and it's very fun. And Patrick's always funny. Okay, Patrick is always funny. He's always a fun character. The SpongeBob Patrick duo is always a fun one to watch. But this also, even with the Flying Dutchman being a long-running SpongeBob character, Flying Dutchman was in SpongeBob since the first season, and seeing how I do understand why they, like, when you see the movie, and I know a lot of people are like, why didn't they just use the original Flying Dutchman voice? Not that Mark Hamill was a problem at all. Mark Hamill is a national treasure in the voice, especially with the voice acting. But and when you watch this movie, you do kind of see why they got Mark Hamill, right? Because he actually does bring something very interesting and very new to the role. And it's not like they fired the other guy. The other guy is doing the video game for SpongeBob that has the Flying Dutchman in it. But this gives a take on the Flying Dutchman that has a lot more nuance to it, right? He has layers to him. He has his goal that he wants. Barb, his sidekick, she has a goal that she wants. And it's fun. If anything, this movie is a fun movie. Me personally, I just wish it was funnier. And that's really it. Like, I really don't have anything like this. I did enjoy this movie, and I do put this right below the first movie, You know what I'm saying? And like I said, depending on the day, it can be the first, it could be this one or the second movie. But I was trying to catch some more of my other points because I did catch a good one. I'm glad I got that one out. But I mean, yeah, like really, that's essentially it. You know, and I mean, you know, give this a watch. Give it a watch. It's definitely worth the watch. It's definitely worth taking the kids to. You know, it's a good watch. I do agree with that. Like I already mentioned, this is like a 91% at this point on Rotten Tomatoes. I just looked down at the score and saw it. But my rating for this, I gotta say, I'm gonna give this a solid 3. A solid 3 out of 5 stars, right in the middle. Because that's what it is for me. This is like a solid like 50-50 for me. So this is a 3 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy this film. I just wish it was funnier, but at the same time, the journey that we go on with the characters is strong. And by the time the movie gets to like the third and the final act in the last few minutes of this, especially when they're on the surface, it is great. It's great. I did enjoy it a lot. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys right now. Yeah, that's it. And I'm definitely glad I saw this. Thank you for tuning in and checking out all these SpongeBob reviews I'm doing right in the middle of the BrickWall holiday special as well. Stay tuned. We got more coming for the rest of the holiday season. We didn't forget about that. We're gonna be rushing some out. But yeah, just thank you all for tuning in. Make sure if you enjoyed this review, leave a like down below. Comment, did you see this movie? Did you check it out? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you enjoy us. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. And until next time, y'all, be easy, stay breezy, and stay joyful. I want to sing Big Guy one time, okay? Big guy, big guy. I'm gonna do the dance. All right, hold up, SpongeBob. Big, hold up, big guy, big guy, big guy, big guy. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay. All right, I had fun with that. Everybody, y'all be easy, stay breezy. Peace.